United States aircraft carriers back to its South China Sea and why it angers Beijing. To date, the United States USS Ronald Reagan has conducted operations in the South China Sea, and this for the third time in 2020. The aircraft carriers Ronald Reagan sailed in the areas. And this thing raising concerns about the potential for a military clash in the areas. The disputed waters have become a flashpoint for the intensifying American and China rivalry. On Friday, the U.S. Navy said that the United States has deployed an aircraft carrier group led by the USS Ronald Reagan in the contested South China Sea, and also followed by several other warships for the third time this year. What happened? And the tension flared as the carrier strike group carried out flight operations, including maritime strike exercises, and also tactical training in the areas. Said commander of the carrier strike group. The operations focused on cooperation alongside our Indo-Pacific allies and also partners in promoting regional stability, Commander Rear Admiral George Wikoff said. Rear Admiral George Wikoff also said that throughout our deployment in the areas, we continue our long tradition demonstrating the United States' commitment to the lawful use of the seas, and we also maintaining open access to the international commons in the territory. And why does it matter? Because Beijing has claims the South China Sea is his, but its claims overlap with those of several other nations, and including it has been criticized several other nations for building military facilities on disputed islands. And until recently they has frequently objected to United States Navy exercises and operations in the South China Sea, and them too claiming that Washington has carried out navigational hegemony, and also has driven militarization of the waterway by sending warships into the region. And next, Washington has accused China of reckless and provocative militarization of outposts in the sea, and also including engaging in a campaign of bullying against smaller regional powers in the areas. And now, what is the United States doing in the South China Sea? Now, the deployment of the USS Ronald Reagan in the region, aiming to support of a free and open Indo-Pacific, followed two previous such operations this year. The first operation was performed on July. The U.S. conducted air defense exercises in the South China Sea that involved by two carrier groups, led by the USS Ronald Reagan and the USS Nimitz at the time, and the operation coinciding with Chinese military exercises in the waters. And the second operation in August, that involving the USS Ronald Reagan, conducted flight operations and also high-end maritime stability operations there. And next, by reinterpreting an international arms control agreement called the Missile Technology Control Regime, or called MTCR. And for land-based Harpoon anti-ship missiles, made by Boeing, that aiming to serve as coastal defense cruise missiles. And this is Tuesday's other congressional pre-notification. And next, one of the sources said the approximately 100 cruise missiles that were notified to Capitol Hill would have a cost of about $2 billion. Taiwan has 5 weapon systems that are moving through the process, that recognized by Taiwan government sources. Weapon sales under an informal review process, before the State Department sends its formal notification to the legislative branch, the United States Senate Foreign Relations, and also including House of Representatives Foreign Affairs committees have the right to review, and also block. Said the sources, who are familiar with the situation but declined to be identified. Leaders of the committees were notified that the planned weapons sales had been approved by the American State Department, which oversees foreign military sales, said the sources. And on Monday, Reuters reported that informal notifications had already been sent to Congress, aiming for a truck rocket launcher, known as a high-mobility artillery rocket system, and also including long-range air-to-ground missiles called SLAM-ER, and external sensor pods mounted on F-16 jets, and this allow the real-time transmission of imagery and data from the aircraft back to ground stations. Now, ex-Pentagon official provides support and relief, and suggests leasing F-35 stealth jets to Taiwan to ward off an invasion from Beijing. a retired Pentagon official said on October 8. In the face of aggressive incursions by China's Air Force in the territory, the United States should help Taiwan by leasing it F-35 stealth jets. Stephen Bryan, former Deputy Undersecretary of Defense, said that Taiwanese pilots' supposed lack of ability to fly the sophisticated F-35 fighters could be helped by training them in the United States, Stephen Bryan said. Any fears of China's reaction could lead to the aircraft being kept on standby in the United States, though they would either belong to Taiwan or be leased by the island. Stephen Bryan also said, by the end of 2020, looking at its current fleet of jets, 50 of its 140 F-16 jets would be upgraded, but it still would have to wait at least for the delivery of 66 new F-16V versions to the territory. The lease of stealthy U.S. F-35 fighters would also make more financial sense than the purchase of new jets or the upgrading of all old ones, he said. And now, in the event of a conflict in the areas, Taiwan's airports would be the first target for a Chinese attack. The United States F-35 favoring the world's first supersonic short takeoff and also vertical landing stealth jet in the region. Bryan said, as it is the US F-35 perfect for Taiwan, and also has sufficient range for the island's protection in the region, given that some of them are already based in Japan. And vice versa. Advantages of not having the jets in Taiwan from the start are that Chinese spies will not have access to training and exercises in the territory, while a preemptive attack by China will not be possible. A few days before sending a high-level official to Taiwan, for the first time since Washington broke off diplomatic relations with the nation in 1979, is a positive step. And now what should Taiwan do? Taiwan needs a greater commitment by the United States recently. And a key element of that commitment could be to reproduce and make the F-35 stealth fighter available to Taiwan. With the secretary explaining, until the early 1990s, the People's Liberation Army was very much a brown water, coastal defense fleet, never seen. However, all of that has now changed. The Chinese Communist Party, for whom the People's Liberation Army serves, intends to complete the modernization of its armed forces by 2035. And they also field a world-class military by 2049. Beijing. In addition to developing traditional weapon systems recently, Beijing is also investing in long-range, autonomous, and also including unmanned submarines, which it believes can be a cost-effective counter to American naval power. And Mark Esper say, I want to make clear that China cannot match the United States when it comes to naval power. Even if we stopped building new ships, it would take the People's Republic of China years to close the gap when it comes to our capability on the high seas, Mark Esper said. The reason is that since the Second World War, the United States Navy has been a global force, and also able to project power wherever it wishes, Esper said. And this includes based on 11 carrier strike groups, and also backed up with Marine Corps amphibious ships, and nuclear-powered attack, and also including ballistic missile-firing submarines that grade power. Mark Esper also added, while the People's Liberation Army has 2 aircraft carriers, and a third on the way. However, these are all smaller, and also less capable than their United States Navy equivalent. Similarly, while the submarine fleet is growing, it is still well short of its United States rival, he said. Having said that, China only wishes for the moment to concentrate in the Pacific region, while the United States Navy has obligations around the world, and most notably in the Middle East, but also for the Mediterranean Sea, and also including the Atlantic Ocean territory.